Long ago in Yoruba land, before the white man's ships touched the shores, before the towns were divided by cement walls and tarred roads, there lived a wealthy farmer named Chief Ogunlade and his beautiful wife, Abike. For many years, they prayed for children, offering sacrifices at the shrine of Orunmila, the god of wisdom. At last, their prayers were answered, but not with one child. Abike gave birth to twins, Ibeji, considered sacred gifts from the gods. The entire village celebrated. Drummers beat their talking drums into the night. Women ululated, and praise singers filled the air with chants. The priest warned, "These boys share one spirit. If they break each other's trust, the gods will demand blood." Adekunle grew into a man of gentle strength, respected for his honesty and kindness. Adeyemi, though identical, carried fire in his eyes and envy in his heart. It was at the river bank that Adekunle first met Folake, the maiden who captured his heart. Their love blossomed with laughter, whispers, and the promise of marriage. Adekunle's heart belonged to Folake, a maiden whose beauty rivaled the rising sun, with smooth skin as fresh palm oil and eyes deep as the Ocean River. But Adeyemi too secretly admired her, hiding his longing behind a mask of brotherly smiles. Whenever Adekunle visited Folake's family, Adeyemi found excuses to join, his gaze always lingering too long. Abike, their mother, noticed the tension, but she dismissed it as harmless rivalry, not knowing the storm it would bring. The day of the wedding came, with drummers beating, maidens dancing, and elders blessing the union of Adekunle and Folake. Under the moonlight, Folake was led into the bridal chamber, her face glowing with innocence and fear. According to custom, the bride was first received by the Iyawole, the women of a new family. They washed Folake's feet, symbolizing peace and cleansing, half of her father's dust. Adekunle was absent, waiting for the final handover. But Adeyemi, seized by forbidden desire, devised a scheme. Disguised in his brother's robe, he prepared to enter the chamber before the rightful groom. In the silence of the night, Adeyemi entered the chamber, pretending to be his brother. Folake, still trembling from the day's rite, was startled by his early arrival. He suited her with sweet words, cloaking his hunger in proverbs of love. "Let me show you how deep my heart burns," he said, promising to return to the dance later. Folake, confused yet trusting, yielded. Thus, under disguise, Adeyemi took what was not his. By midnight, Adekunle entered joyfully to embrace his bride, but Adekunle's joy turned to confusion, then anger, when he discovered she was no longer untouched. Confusion turned quickly to rage. Adekunle, blinded by fury, clenched his fist. To him, it seemed his bride had betrayed his trust on the very night meant to seal their union. Folake wept bitterly, trying to speak, but fear and confusion tied her tongue. She could not understand the anger and rage that is about to tear marriage apart or bring disgrace upon her. Elsewhere, Adeyemi sat in the shadows, his heart pounding with guilt. Though he had satisfied his desire, he feared the weight of his secret would one day consume them all. Folake's sobs filled the chamber, her dreams shattered before they could even begin. He saw her life folding into silence, burdened by confusion. Though bound by marriage rights, trust was broken. A wall of suspicion and silence grew between husband and wife, while the true deceiver lurked in the shadows unseen and unpunished. Hatred brewed in Adekunle's heart, for he believed Folake had betrayed him. He no longer looked at her with the eyes of love, but with daggers of suspicion. Folake lived in silence, unable to answer his questions, her heart heavy with sadness. Days turned into weeks. weeks into months. Yet Adekule's hunger only grew colder, sharper, like a cutlass rusting in bitterness. Folake withered under his harsh words and hateful silence, shrinking like a flower without rain. At night, she cried herself to sleep, clutching her belly as life within her grew and unable to inform her husband. But Adekule, blinded by rage, refused to see her suffering, turning instead to wealth and drink. One morning, Folake could no longer bear it. She gathered her wrapper and fled to a neighboring village. Her journey was long and filled with tears, for she carried not only her unborn child but also the weight of shame. She reached the neighboring village, weary and broken, but still determined to protect her child. Months passed, and Folake gave birth to a son, strong and healthy, with a birthmark on his back. Years passed, and though Adekule grew wealthier and prouder, his heart remained filled with bitterness and at the same time longing for his soulmate as he refused to remarry. Adeyemi lived in quiet guilt, while Folake's fate was hidden far from the village. It was during the annual Egungun festival, after so many years of unanswered questions, when the drums of the ancestors echoed across the land, that destiny stirred once again. On that day, Folake returned quietly to the market of her former village, carrying baskets of palm oil with intention to sell and make money for her and her son. By her side ran a playful little boy, her only son. The boy laughed and ran among the masquerades, his small feet kicking up dust as the dancers twirled. But when the villagers looked closely, they gasped, for the child bore the unmistakable resemblance of Adekule himself. The whispers grew louder. Is that not Folake? Was she not Adekule's wife who vanished? And the child, does it not carry Adekule's very face? News traveled swiftly. A messenger ran to Adekule crying, "Your wife has returned with a son. She sells palm oil at the Egungun festival." He stormed to confront his brother, demanding the truth. At last, Adeyemi fell to his knees, confessing that he had stolen into the bridal chamber. The elders declared it an abomination, for he had broken trust not only with his brother but with the gods. Folake, torn between shame and sorrow, clutched her child, knowing the truth had destroyed them all. Thus, the tale of the twins' bride was told for generations, a story of love, betrayal, and the marks the gods leave behind.